Welcome to Fundamentals of Project Management. Now we have the presentation on project management processes. A process is defined as a set of activities that must be performed to achieve a goal. In this case, the project goal. It's a set of activities that need to be done in a specific order to achieve something. A process does not need to be complex and difficult to use. We're going to see in this course an example is that our process can be quite simple, but the idea is that they need to be understood by everybody in the project team. Our process in our examples will contain 5 basic elements. That means that there are sources of information that are created into inputs, then managed in a set of work that produce a set of outputs for users who have an access and are able to do and act on that information, and includes feedback mechanisms that manage the process, so there's a continuous involvement in the quality and improvements of the process. In this course, we're going to see 9 processes. We're going to have the core processes and the support processes on project management. Our core processes help manage the 4 project constraints of scope, schedule, budget, and quality. The core processes help manage the elements used to define project success, which means on time, on budget, within a scope, and meet the quality expected by the beneficiaries. So we have these 4 core elements of the project in this first core processes. Supporting processes help in areas that facilitate the management of key components of the project and make it possible for the project to achieve its objectives. So we have team management, stakeholder management, information management, risk management, and contract management. The 9 management processes occur during the entire project life cycle, and each one requires a cyclical approach that consists of planning, doing, checking, and adapting as components to ensure process quality. That means that each one of these processes has a step that needs to be planned, implemented. We need to check, observe for deviations, and adapt and improve the next time. So there is a continuous cycle that is continuously improving the process each time we do it. Why process management? Using process is a method to manage a project by breaking it down into key elements. Process management allows for a structured and systematic approach to plan, execute, control, and adapt all project work. It helps understand all the components that are needed to achieve an objective, whether that means delivering a piece of work on the project, a report to the donor, or achieving a specific milestone in the project. The first is scope management, and it means how we are able to manage the work on the project. That means one of the instances is to break down the project into its most common manageable components, from the project goal to the objectives to the results to the activity. So it helps us manage all the work that we need to do that will help us achieve the goal of the project. The second process is schedule management, which is the definition of the duration, the start and end of each one of the tasks in the project, and with the help of certain tools help us manage the time that we have available for each one of these activities, so that we can have a good grasp on where we are, who needs to be done when and where. Our budget management helps us manage the planned expenditures of the project against its actual expenditures and try to find deviations before they are too late not to be managed. The idea of budget management is that we know how much money we have available and what we can do with what we have in a balance. Quality management is a process that's embedded in all the other processes. As we've seen before, it's the process of planning, doing, checking, and acting on each one of those elements of the project. Our fifth process is team management, and helps us manage the team, help us manage all the components that we have under the project manager that deals with the relationships with its team and making sure that they have the skills and the tools and the process to do all the work that is required in the project. The sixth process is stakeholder management. It's a way to understand our stakeholders in the levels of influence and interest on the project and identify the key stakeholders that have an element of interest and influence in the project that is important for us and they are important for the project. Our seventh process is information management. It helps us ensure that the process to manage information is well understood by everybody in the team so that we can get the right information to the right people at the right time. Our eighth process deals with risk management, and it's a management where we can see the probability and impact of all the risks and help us identify those risks that we need to focus so that we can have the biggest impact in the project and we're able to reduce the risk. The last process is contract management. It helps us manage the expenditures of the project when we are hiring consultants or hiring organizations or making payments for services required by the project. All of these are elements that the project requires, and it's a responsibility in project management, whether they're core processes or supporting processes. All of these elements help the project organize its information and make it easier for a project manager to be able to manage the project. Thank you very much and invite you to see the next presentation.